The heart of the story. The word story prompts you to picture something that has a narrative arc, a structure that takes characters from a beginning to an ending. Watch a video and learn more about narrative arcs.
Has a story ever held you spellbound? Authors use patterns to draw readers into the story. Narrative arc, which is the order of plot events, is one of those patterns. Authors carefully select these events to create engaging pieces. But if a story jumbles the order of plot events or spends too much time on one part of the story, like the setting, readers will get bored. When narrative arc is used effectively, the reader is transported. You can tell the central idea of a story by analyzing the elements of narrative arc. Sometimes readers must draw conclusions using text evidence to determine what might happen next. Think about how the story's central idea might differ if the author changed one plot event. By exploring the elements of narrative arc, you will learn how authors create engaging stories.
Events, ideas, and evidence. You can use the evidence in a text to recognize its narrative arc and its unstated central idea. This video shows you how.
Hey, Lewis here. One of my favorite things to do is go to the movies. My teacher told me that almost all movies have something in common. They all tell a story, and the development of the sequence of events in that story is called a narrative arc. Narrative arc is sometimes called plot arc, and it refers to the chronological order of plot events, the beginning, the middle, and the end of a story. Looking closely at the narrative arc can help you understand the central idea of a narrative and infer what the whole point of the story is. Let's take a look at narrative arc. Each movie genre that tells a story will include elements found in the narrative arc. That's true of fiction and of narrative nonfiction. The story will start with the exposition, which sets up characters and setting. To identify the exposition, look for vivid details about the characters and where the story takes place. The complicating incident will start the action and conflict. Usually, the complicating incident involves a problem the characters must solve. The rising action is a series of events that build interest. What events build upon the problem? The climax is the point of highest action. All of the events lead to the climax. It should be the most exciting part of the story. Finally, the falling action and resolution are the narrative's conclusion. Look for places where the writer wraps the story up. Why is it important to understand the narrative arc? Analyzing the components of the narrative arc helps us determine the work's central idea. A central idea is the overall main idea or message in a text. Sometimes authors will state outright the central idea of their work. Other times, they let their stories speak for themselves, and you must work to uncover the central idea. You might have to draw conclusions and make inferences about the plot to understand the central idea. For example, the way the conflict of a story is resolved may say something about the overall point the author is making. Remember Return of the Jedi when Luke decides not to join Darth Vader? In the end, he is rewarded for his decision, and the Rebel Alliance wins. Luke's decision suggests something about the value of the character's beliefs. Good wins out over evil. Remember to use evidence from the text to support your inferences and conclusions. Don't forget that a narrative arc exists in all stories, be they fiction or narrative nonfiction. Well, time for a movie, but first, I may need more popcorn.
Key concept. Fiction and narrative nonfiction both follow a narrative arc. Now you will examine how such works are structured and learn how to identify important ideas in a story by drawing conclusions and making inferences based on textual evidence. Begin by reviewing some keywords. Exposition. Define exposition in your own words. Remember, exposition sounds like exposé. Think about what the exposition of a narrative might expose. Related words. Plot, narrative arc, characters, setting. Definition. The beginning of a narrative wherein the setting, characters, and basic situation are introduced. Example. In a story about an alien invasion of Earth, the exposition might introduce a young astronomer as she goes about her regular life in her rather ordinary hometown. Complicating incident. Define complicating incident in your own words. Remember, a complication is a synonym for a problem or conflict. Related words. Plot, narrative arc, conflict. Definition. An important early event that signals the start of the action of a story and introduces the conflict. Example. In a story about an alien invasion of Earth, the complicating incident might be when the young astronomer first spots a UFO in the night sky. Rising action. Define rising action in your own words. Remember, when something rises, it is often because it is building up or becoming greater. Related words. Plot, narrative arc, conflict, climax. Definition. A series of events that build interest or suspense in a narrative. Example. In a story about an alien invasion of Earth, the rising action might include the young astronomer's efforts to warn everyone else about the UFO she spotted and helping in the efforts to defend the planet. Climax. Define climax in your own words. Remember, the shape of the narrative arc can be compared to the shape of a mountain. The peak of a mountain is the climax. Related words. Plot, narrative arc, conflict, action. Definition. The point of highest action in a story, the turning point. Example. In a story about an alien invasion of Earth, the climax might be the moment when the young astronomer tricks the aliens into firing their ship's rocket boosters, unintentionally blasting themselves away from Earth at the speed of light. Falling action. Define falling action in your own words. Remember, when something falls, it becomes lower or decreases and, at times, less intense. Related words. Plot, narrative arc, conflict, climax. Definition. The conclusion of a story, which includes the resolution of the conflict. Example. In a story about an alien invasion of Earth, the falling action might show the young astronomer being rewarded for her bravery and intelligence and the people of Earth coming up with a way to prevent the aliens from ever returning. Resolution. Define resolution in your own words. Remember, resolve means to solve a problem. Think about what might be resolved in a narrative. Related words. Narrative, conflict, conclusion. Definition. The solution or working out of a literary conflict. Example. In a story about an alien invasion of Earth, the resolution might be when people of Earth collaborate to prevent future alien invasions. Central idea. Define central idea in your own words. Remember, central means related to the center. Related words. Main idea. Definition. The overall main idea or message in an informational text. Example. Imagine a magazine article entitled Teens, Texting, Driving. A deadly mix. The central idea is stated in the title. Teenagers who text while driving may be putting their lives, and the lives of others, at risk. Topic. Define topic in your own words. Related words. Subject. Definition. The subject of a text. Example. Chapter topics in a book about caring for cats might include feeding, grooming, healthcare, and exercise.